Okay, it's snowing. We've been waiting for a snow day and it's finally here. I hope you can get out and enjoy. I hope that you've been learning more about Canvas so you can get out to do the things that you love to do. All right, have a wonderful day. Hi everyone, I thought what we would do is start from the very beginning in showing you how to sign up for Confer Zoom. If you have been used to using CCC Confer, this is different. This is a different tool that uses the Zoom technology. I think you're going to like it. Most likely you do not already have an account. If you do, that's great. But if you want to use this outside of Canvas or inside of Canvas, the first thing that you're going to do is sign up. Okay, so once you sign up, I want you to see that under the Meetings tab, and I'll just move this over for you to see, you can actually schedule a meeting inside of Confer Zoom. Now, that's okay if you want to do that. It will schedule a meeting. It's going to send you information so you can send your students. What I like to do is go into Canvas and set up my meetings in Canvas. So I'm going to show you how to do that. But I also wanted to show you here that you can set and schedule a meeting inside your Confer Zoom account. Okay, next up, I'm in a Canvas classroom and I want to make sure I have Confer up and ready for me to schedule. So I'm going to click on Settings, I'm going to go to Navigation, and it's not going to default into the first panel, so you're going to have to go down into the second panel where it's hidden from students, and you'll see it somewhere there. You can click on the Enable and it's going to pop up in the visible course navigation panel, and then you can move it around if you want. I'm going to leave it at the bottom for now, and then make sure you come down to the bottom. And this, sometimes it's easy to forget because this list is very long. Make sure you click Save. Once you have enabled the Confer Now, you'll see that it will be in your menu, and you can click on it in your menu and you can schedule events. Now, one thing that you can do is you can do a quick launch or you can schedule events ahead of time. Now, I want to take you back to your account. They are going to be inside of your account and listed, but most of us will want our students to access right there within the classroom. So I just want you to know that that's going to be important. So if I click on Schedule More Events, I can set this time and schedule it for later. Or I can do a quick launch new event and set it for right now if I need to meet with a student or an instructor. Now, the great thing about it is every time that you record one of your sessions, it's going to show up in the event recordings. And right now there's nothing here, but you'll see a list. I can take you to another class and show you. Okay, there's a couple of things that I want to go over with you on this particular screen. First of all, here's the event recordings, and here's all the past recordings. And if you want to be able to view the recordings you're going to have your students or yourself, click on View Recordings. It's going to load a dialog box, and you're going to select the MP4 for streaming, or you can actually download the MP4 if you want to have the audio video file on your desktop. Most of the time I will select streaming, and that way it will open up in the browser just like this, and students and you can play back the recording. I do want to say before we move on that before you schedule any events, you want to make sure that your account settings are activated. Remember, I showed you in the beginning how you would go and activate your account outside of Canvas? Well, it will actually activate inside of Canvas if it's done appropriately and properly. Now, if you see this information and the screen check, you are good to go. Now we're ready to go inside of Zoom and I'm going to show you around. Okay, here we go. I'm going to click on the Quick Launch New Event and I'm going to select 15 minutes. Now, notice this launch button comes on and all of a sudden you're going to have a window open. The Zoom window starts to open. A dialog box will appear. Let's make sure you can see that. I'm going to click on Open Zoom Meetings. Now, if you've never launched Zoom, what's going to happen, it will download the Zoom program for you, and that way you can actually activate it, get it started, and you only need to do that once, but you will need to do it on each and every computer that you work on. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to give you a tour. So let's go down here to the left. First, this is my microphone, and I can make sure that my mic and my speakers are working and that there is a microphone and speaker selected. And then here is my video camera, and I can switch if I had more than one video camera. Usually you'll just have one webcam unless you have one that's built in and then one that might be a third party or one that sits on top of your monitor like the one I have. I'm going to stop that video for right now and just let you see a picture so that way you can concentrate on some of the tools that I'm showing you. Now, this is the invite, and if I wanted to invite someone outside of Canvas, I can click on that and I can copy the invitation. It's in my magnetic clipboard. I could go to an email and then paste that in and send that off. You might see that URL for the session if I send an invite to you personally, or maybe I include it in a training. So I can close that window, and then I'm going to go over here to manage participants. This is where I can see who is in the room actually, and I can mute them if I wanted. And then there's some more options. I can play enter exit with a chime. That way I know when people are arriving. Now, most of the time you're going to know because you're going to see them, and sometimes if they have their videos on, you're going to see their videos at the top, or you're going to see their videos lined up vertically. Now, I also have sharing screen, which I will show you what that looks like. I can give multiple participants an option to share the screen. That way, if you had students that you wanted them to present, or you wanted a colleague to be able to share their screen, you can set that option. And for me, this is just one participant at a time. And there's some advanced sharing, so you can take a look at that. There's a lot of settings that if you just take some time, you will probably want to make sure that you understand what they mean. And I always recommend, and I'm going to say this before, during, and after, always do a dry run, whether it's with me or if it's with one of your fellow colleagues or students. Always do a practice, because the unexpected can happen. You know how that is with technology. And then we have this chat. The chat room will open, and that way if students want to participate, and maybe for a variety of reasons, you're going to open the chat room. They want to ask a question. Wherever you see more, there's going to be some other options. I can merge this to the meeting room, and it locks on the side, the right-hand side of this screen. I'm going to just close that for now. Here's the recording. Now this is interesting. You've got two choices: record on this computer or record to the cloud. Now I've been doing recording to the cloud because what happens is it will actually send you an email with all the information after your recording is done and complete, and it will also post in that area view recordings. That way you have it in two places. You can forward it on to fellow classmates or your students, or they can access it within your Canvas course where that particular session was initiated. Now, if you do record on this computer, it's actually going to be an MP4 video file, and it's going to download to your computer. So I would suggest recording to the cloud, because you will still have this option to be able to download to your computer. And then you have something called breakout rooms. And let me just tell you a little bit about them. And this is a good idea. If you wanted to have a variety of students in different rooms, you could set up the participants to meet in different rooms, whether it's automatically or manual. So that's something that you can check out if that was needed. And then we have over here to the right, end meeting. Now you can end the meeting at any time. And going back to the recording, if you forget to stop the video recording and you leave or end the meeting, it will stop recording as well. So that's good news. So I'm going to take you up to the top, and you have this enter full screen, or you can exit the full screen. So you have some choices there. So now I'm going to take you to share screen, and that way a dialog box will appear and you get to choose which desktop, if you have more than one monitor, a whiteboard, you could go to your iPhone, iPad. Oh, there's a lot of different choices. What I normally do is I would go to my desktop one, and then I would share my screen, and then if I had my Canvas class open, I could share that and go through some of the assignments. I could open up a Word document. I do want to just say that I would always recommend having those items open already in your tabs or in your taskbar, ready for you to pop up. So again, let me just explain. This is sharing my screen, and what happens is the menu that was at the bottom is now on the top. And sometimes you don't see it, so you just put your mouse above this little green and it will pop out. So it hides itself in some respects. So now this is probably a lot of tools. What's really good to note is the ConferZoom site that you registered has a really good guide manual, and it's broken up in a lot of different topics. I recommend that you take a look at that, have that bookmarked, posted somewhere, because chances are questions are going to come up. Like, for example, how do you mute? Or you could tell them to mute themselves. What if you wanted to start your video back again? How can you manage your participants? And then again, there's new share, or you can actually stop sharing. Your desktop sharing is being paused, and then you could toggle it back on. Or you can actually use some of the annotation tools if you wanted to draw attention to writing on the screen or document or application. So anyway, there's so many different choices, and the great thing about it, if you decide to meet with your students live, you can record this for later, or if you decide to record ahead of time, you can provide a link to your students. And we have this more drop-down menu that also gives you a session end, and then you can do that from here. Or you can go over here to stop share, go back to where the video would be. In this case, I just have stopped my video, and so all you're seeing is my image. And then what I can do is I can end the session. So I want to show you that. I'm actually clicking on End Meeting, and then I'm back, and I've ended the meeting for everyone. So that means everybody will be logged out of the meeting. And this right here is going to appear once you download the application Zoom. And this is just a little quick window guide, so you can do some of the same things. Here's what I recommend. Having a dry run, first of all. Letting me or one of your colleagues or students practice with you. You will feel a lot more confident if you do that. The second thing that I recommend is that you sign up, you schedule your meetings through Canvas, and then you let your students know that you want them to go into Canvas and find their ConferNow Zoom meeting. It's easy. They'll love it. You'll appreciate having this option, being able to go over things with the students that maybe you need them to watch over and over again. set up office hours, one-on-one presentations. You can set up group presentations. The sky's the limit here. So I want you to think big and let me know how I can help. Thank you.